Out of pocket expenses. Okay. Okay. You see me? Yeah. And then we'll go from there. I'm back on. Let me check.
Okay. Mr. Mure, have you heard anything from Ms. Roy? We're trying to track her down.
She did email me this morning, like 8 o'clock, but not since then.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind texting her or however you communicate with her to figure out where she is. We were supposed to start at 9 and everyone else is ready to go.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. Did they ever teach you how to mess with that one? It's not working, so I'm wondering if it's not on. Sometimes that's all it is. Was it on?
Yeah, I just,
Rebooting it? Okay. Let me know when it's up. I'll try again. Oh, it is. I haven't tried. Let me try.
That makes sense.
Where are you going, John?
All right.
My apologies, I took a little tumble.
Uh-oh.
I just left this here, but I'm good.
Okay. Good.
I apologize for keeping you waiting.
No, you're all right.
All is good. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just set up my stuff. So I'm charging it.
Have to let the cleaning person in. It's not working, but we'll get through it. Just provided a better view.
Hold up. This is the same. Right, right, this.
All right, Ms. Roy, let me know when you are all set.
Yeah, I did speak to Ms. Roy outside, and we would, if we could pre-try, would be honored,
So I just want to make sure we've got Mr. Mure there. So I just want to convene the session and then we will move forward in whatever way the two sides think is most productive. But we're here on 25 CV 002-516, which is a partition action brought by Mr. Mure, who is joining us from where?
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, the great state of Maryland. His lawyer, Ms. Roy, is here. And then we have Mr. Jones, who is here with his lawyer, Mr. Coleman. So we've got all the parts we need to move forward. Mr. Coleman shared with me, Ms. Roy, that it may make sense for us to talk a little outside the bounds of the complaint for a moment, just to see where we are, because there may be a shortcut to getting to where we need to be, whatever that might mean. The relief that's being sought is that Mr. Mure wants a judicially ordered sale of the property with the proceeds put into the registry of the court, so that at some point we could do an accounting to figure out who gets what from the proceeds of the sale. That's how I understood the posture of the case. There are always two sides to the story, but that's where we are, and that's what we were going to work through today. But Mr. Coleman had previewed that there may be a way to get to yes sooner than the full-blown hearing. And I'm open. You guys have me pretty much all day, so we can work this however. Have you, Ms. Roy, spoken with Mr. Coleman recently, or is it news to you that there may be a way to, whatever pre-try means, for us to talk about it and figure something out?
We did have a mediation recently.
I saw that. It didn't work.
It was quite unsuccessful, unfortunately. But I'm certainly always willing to listen.
Okay.
I mean, we'll get there, but I'm certainly willing to listen to hear what they have to say.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, was it a conversation that you wanted to have with Ms. Roy first? You guys go in the jury room and talk, or this is a, hey, all hands on deck. Let me tell you where Mr. Jones and I are right now.
I can talk to Patricia, but, well, or we can,
I'm open. I can go back and do some work for a little while you and Ms. Roy talk. But if it is a kind of conversation that you think we all ought to be a part of, then we can just do it right here.
or can we pre-trial in the chambers with your own?
Oh, so you want to talk to me? I wasn't sure if you needed to talk to Ms. Roy first.
All three of us.
Okay. That's fine. Is there any reason we can't do it right here, or you'd prefer to do it lawyers and judge,
Lawyers and
just to
judge.
keep temperatures at the current level?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would prefer that.
Okay. Do you need to check with Mr. Mure about that, or he's given you full authority to have conversations?
He's giving me the thumbs up.
All right, there it is. Okay. Then why don't we can just go into the jury room right there and we'll talk. Mr. Jones, Mr. Mure, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. What's locked?
It might be not.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you No, sir. I don't even think. Hold on, just sit he'll be at it. I think it's next week. You're. Second call. Hey, sure. Hey, discuss. Hey, told I was told by a certain green that she was. Okay, then they will check. You should have to do now because.
You gotta read. Or Judge Evans? Yes. Okay, all right. Hold on, let me see. You got Dorothy. You got, what's his name, Shay, Landon Shay. And, Reed. Okay, yeah. I need to do it. How you gotta do it? Yeah. All right. I got, one. Yeah. No, he's not, he keeps that. He doesn't keep that. Ain't nobody. The Green told me that, okay, that's good. Yeah.
You ain't got a sanction in it. The jury brought something. They just thought it was a court. Is it, you gotta go watch court? Or we go on? Uh, I tried to reset it. I cut it off and cut it back on. So good. Nah, I don't know, you try to set it. It's computer me. Lights out. It's getting really on, yeah. That's so, still, it's gonna be solid. No, I think it can. They did all turn and then, yeah, so it should be, I see like. Oh, you can do it for them? Nah. I don't know if you try that. The next video. Okay, let me see. I got a question too.
What you got?
You know, now we got, authenticated code that comes to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get it. I gotta, so my old email, I had to get rid of it.
What you mean, like?
Like I had to go with my college email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they sent another email about if you didn't get in school for 10 years, they can't read the email. And I wasn't able to change it over, so I can't get my email back on the computer.
Okay.
Cause it's sending the code to.
Yo, college email. Oh. Um,
But I thought I updated it.
Hold on.
No, I'm sure I'm talking. But when I think you finish that, I should.
All right, so it's on now. We good.
Is that?
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
It's doing it. I tried to change like. Oh, so I don't know. Your computer, right? Yeah, can we look at it? So. No, I was calling this. I was. Did he look at it? I like to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At the top. Okay. That's yeah, so. Oh. Doesn't change that. Right. Yes, it's good now. Put it here. Yeah, sure. He said you get her. Yeah, sure. We just had to do it. Okay, man. Okay. Good, that's all right. We better. coincidence. But sometimes, see what comes, bro, why you getting She's great. Uh. You're Justin to get back.
Right, teammates are with dogs. They're coming home. Mr. Mure, Mr. Coleman is going to speak with Mr. Jones real briefly about something, and then we are going to talk shop about where we're going next, okay? Let me mute it. Look at that. Okay, what did he do?
Yes, I told him too quick that he could add it back.
Oh.
He just went to your computer and added it.
Okay, I tried and I couldn't add it, but more power to him.
You had drug court participant show up. Yes, he had jury room. Like he was getting agitated, so he walked out.
Huh,
Told me it was bad, he would come out.
okay. Wonder who it was.
I never seen him. He's new with dreads.
It wasn't Mr. Patterson? Okay.
He's a new with me, I know.
I wonder if it was from a different judge, because they get them in Kraus as well. But they're supposed to be told where to go. Emerson, one D is where they're in trial, so that's where he needs to go watch, but, okay.
Yes, he was impatient.
Yeah. What's the latest on that big property down in Chattahoochee Hills? Is it,
Good question.
it's supposed to be sold also, I thought.
Oh, it's been listed,
Okay,
but it hasn't sold yet.
okay, but it's on the market.
Oh, it's been on the market, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just hadn't heard anything from you all, both sides.
I guess no news is good news in some respects, and others, yeah, the house has not sold. I think they have somebody who, like a conservation type organization who bought the adjacent property who's interested, but it was priced too high, so they're deciding on what to do.
Okay.
But I mean, I think we're on the calendar for December for that, I guess, so.
I don't know. I just remembered we had another
Right,
one of yours.
right, lucky you. Lucky us, for sure. I just did a partition trial before Judge Glanville. In that case where it had lasted several years through a bunch of probate, nasty probate. They finally, after years, get the house on the market. And lo and behold, it gets burned down New Year's Eve.
Suspicious.
Is it the timing of that after all these years? Yeah. That was interesting. Oh, by the way, no insurance on that house.
So a complete loss.
It's the dirt. Thankfully, the dirt was worth something, but yeah.
All right. Mr. Mure, can you hear us?
He says yes.
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 Thank you.
Great. All right. So, Mr. Jones and Mr. Mure, your lawyers and I just spent a good time talking about where we are in this case and where it needs to go. It sounds like, for financial reasons, we have reached the point where the property needs to be sold. And my focus over the next few months will be ensuring that if there are any obstacles to that sale, I help move them out of the way. The point of the sale is to maximize the sales price for both of you, because in the end, you will be divvying up the proceeds of the sale consistent with contributions that have been made, like a down payment, like mortgage payments, Mr. Mure, that you've made during the forbearance period, et cetera. And we will definitely have what we call an accounting that will start with a conversation and an exchange of documents with the lawyers, because it sounds like much of the accounting can be agreed upon. And then we'll figure out, based on those figures, where there are areas of disagreement, and at a later date, if necessary, we can have a hearing where I resolve those disagreements to figure out, and I'm making a number up, if the proceeds from the sale are 100, how much of those go to Mr. Mure and how much of those go to Mr. Jones. The immediate impact of what we're about to do will fall most heavily on your shoulders, Mr. Jones, because if the house is up for sale, that means it needs to be available for a realtor to show. And that typically means you're not around when they show it. It may be that you're around, but if I'm coming to look at the house, I'm more comfortable if it's the realtor and me. I'm like, hey, there's a guy in his pajamas. I feel awkward. I'm in your house now. Houses are not shown at 7 in the morning. They're not shown at 10 at night. They're shown during the day, sometimes on weekends. And so your primary commitment will be, one, to keep the house looking nice. And from everything I hear from Mr. Coleman, that's how it naturally looks, is very nice. But your socks aren't on the bed when you head out. They're put away. And that you just got to pop out of there with fair notice. The realtor doesn't knock on the door saying, hey, you need to get out, but the realtor texts you and says, I'm bringing some people by at 3 today. And you say, great, I'll be gone by 2:30. Let me know when they're gone, so you know when to come back. So you're going to be spending some time at a Starbucks or a friend's house or the office or whatever it is for you. But you need to be showing that flexibility. And what I shared with Mr. Coleman is that if the realtor is letting the two lawyers know, and the last 4 times I tried to show the house, Jones wouldn't get out. They'll share that with me. And then there's a plan B, which might be, hey, for the next 2 weeks, you got to find another place to stay. I don't think it needs to come to that. I don't get the sense we'll get there, but I need you to understand that we've reached a phase where Ms. Roy or Mr. Coleman, depending on what the frustration is, are able to reach out to me, and I'll be prepared to say, you need to stop what's happening and do it a different way. And the same for Mr. Mure. It just, like I said, the burden is more right now on you in terms of logistics because you're the one in the house is here, it's not in Maryland. But this, I don't think that's going to be a huge deal as long as you've got a responsive realtor who is letting you know, hey, someone's coming over at 2 tomorrow. And then great, I'll be gone from 1 to 4. The house does need to be show ready though soon. And I asked Mr. Coleman to talk to you, Mr. Jones, about 2 things. One, what your financial bandwidth is to make mortgage payments between now and the time it's sold. And then 2, how quickly you think the house could be listed. Because once it's listed, the realtor is going to be getting calls from people saying, oh man, I saw this on Zillow. When can I come by? And that's not tomorrow, but it needs to be soon because Ms. Roy's client, Mr. Mure, is obviously anxious to figure out a way to get this ongoing financial burden for both of you, the mortgage payment, off his back and off your back. So, Mr. Coleman, what did you guys come up with in terms of an amount that could be contributed each month, at least for the next few months? And then we'd have to regroup if after 3 months it hadn't been sold, people's financial situation may have changed. And when could we list it?
We could do half and then the 14 days.
Okay. So I don't know that it's listable within 2 weeks, but that'll just be part of the agreement that once a realtor is agreed upon, that realtor could get it listed within 2 weeks. And it really would be less if you guys agree on a realtor next week, then really if he or she could get it up in a week, that's that 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks from today, in theory, that it would be listed. I don't think it'll be that soon because we got to get things rolling. And then Mr. Jones is committing to being able to make half of the 2,300-ish mortgage payment each month?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mure, Ms. Roy is going to talk with you after this session is over. But where we got today is that, yes, the house needs to be sold. It needs to be sold as quickly as possible, consistent with getting maximum dollar for it. So not a firehouse sale on the courthouse steps, which would not minimize returns for either you or Mr. Jones. But that means that mortgage payments will need to be made for a few more months. And I offered up the notion, Ms. Roy did not, but I offered up the notion that if we figure out Mr. Jones can pay X, if you are able to make up that difference so that the mortgage is paid, so that we are avoiding a foreclosure, which is in everyone's interest, in particular yours, since your name is on the mortgage. And I understand the essential needs you have to maintain good credit, given your profession. The notion that I had was that we come up with a way for both parties to be making mortgage payments. You should not assume for a moment that any nickel that you pay on a mortgage payment is viewed by me as some obligation that you have. When we get to the point of the accounting, the kinds of things that get backed out and become a credit for you, I believe, I'm not making a ruling yet because I need to hear from Mr. Coleman as an advocate for Mr. Jones, but every penny that you've made as a mortgage payment is money that you would be getting back. And that is historically, in other words, as I understand it, you've made 3 or 4 mortgage payments during this forbearance period, but it would be prospectively as well. So Mr. Jones is telling me that he can pay $1,650 or whatever, that's not the right math. It would be $1,150 to get to $2,300. And assuming you can make up that difference, you'd be paying whatever that is. Those are funds that you'd be getting back, most likely, when we do the accounting, because as I understand the arrangement that you and Mr. Jones had, is that Mr. Jones is paying the mortgage, but because taxes went up and other things may have changed in people's lives, he wasn't able to, and then there reached a point where maybe technically he wasn't able to because the bank said, or the lender said, we're not gonna have an argument about it right now. I'm probably getting some of the facts wrong. And so what I'm saying right now is not, hey, these are my judicial findings. It also reached a point where the bank or the mortgage lender said, we're not gonna do these direct debits from an account where we've had some things bounced. And we reached the point where Mr. Jones wasn't paying the mortgage, not necessarily because he couldn't, as in financially he couldn't, it just, that's not what was happening. And so that math will be worked out down the road. My focus is on the coming weeks as we work to get the house on the market and then more importantly, sold. So I just shared a whole bunch, Mr. Mure. Do you have questions for me? You're gonna have 100 questions for Ms. Roy and she'll give you 101 answers. But I wanna make sure you understand how we are moving forward.
I'd like to know how he intends to pay the mortgage. Is he sending the money to me so that way I can pay the mortgage, or is he sending the money directly to the mortgage company?
So we're going to work through that before we leave. Whether it's that it goes to Mr. Coleman's escrow account, he gets it to Ms. Roy. I'd like it to be as direct as possible, but I also know that the mortgage company is probably not going to say, we'll take 2 streams of payment. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Coleman his thoughts about the best way to ensure that the mortgage is paid timely, and which means Mr. Jones is getting to the right place, whatever place that would be, his $1,150.
I guess we didn't kind of work that one out.
No, I hadn't thought through that either. And I'm hoping Ms. Roy could chime in as well. Well, let me ask you, Mr. Mure, because I know you've been making some of these payments. How are they being made right now? Are they being debited out of an account of yours? Do you stroke a check and mail it to Mr. Cooper, whatever the name of this lender is?
The payment that I made this month, they actually let me make it online.
Okay. Meaning you went to their website and it was sort of a ACH transfer, but you typed in the magic things? Yeah,
my checking account is attached to the online account, and so I just went in and electronically debited my checking, and it's coming directly out of my account.
Okay, so the most direct approach then would be for Mr. Jones to get to you that dollar amount by a deadline we agree on, and it would be in advance of the deadline for the mortgage payment. Are you willing to accept a Zelle or a Cash App or Apple Pay or however Mr. Jones would say, here's how I'm going to get the money to Mr. Mure? Or would you prefer not to have a direct financial connection like that?
He can send me he can send me a cash app. We did that before the auto pay was set up. So
Okay.
we don't have
And
to
then we'll
talk.
get a receipt
Yes.
from the mortgage being paid, right?
You said you'll get a receipt?
Right, when Mr. Mure pays the mortgage from his account, we'll get a confirmation that he gets the confirmation and we get the confirmation.
Sure. I think that ought to be part of what you and Ms. Roy, Mr. Coleman, are putting together about what do the next few months look like. There are pieces like, hey, the realtor should be selected in the next few days, and if not, then I'll pick the realtor. And the house will be listed, and Mr. Jones agrees that with 24 hours notice, he'll take a break from being at home. And let's put in there as well these details that Cash App is how Mr. Jones will get the money to Mr. Mure. He'll get it to Mr. Mure by date X. I'm sure the mortgage is due the same day every month. And so a few days before that, the Cash App needs to occur so that then Mr. Mure can reach out to Ms. Roy saying, I didn't get it yet. She can let me know, and I can say, Coleman, he's got 30 minutes to Cash App it, or he's out of the house. We're done. We're not playing these games anymore. Similarly, Mr. Mure, upon making that payment and getting that confirmation, will need to get it to Ms. Roy so that it gets to Mr. Coleman. And we're building, at least going forward, good, clean paperwork.
Right.
So that what we aren't going to be litigating is what was the money flow from November 5 until the sale of the house. That better be crystal clear. There may be murkiness about what happened in December of 24, what happened in February of 25. That's where we've got lawyers, and we'll work through that. But from November 5 forward, there should be zero question marks about who paid what and when and how. Okay?
If I may, Your Honor.
Please.
Since my client wasn't in with us and I haven't had a chance to confer with him.
Yeah.
I want him to know a little bit about what transpired, not in full, but just know.
Sure. I want to make sure your microphone, is the light green on your microphone?
No.
All right. Oh, it doesn't work? Oh, the green light doesn't work. But if you bend the microphone towards you, can you tap on it? It works. Great. I just want to make sure your client can hear you.
Okay. One of the things, I know we talked about it, since I know the burden is on, more on Mr. Jones. Currently, he lives in the property, but I don't want it to get lost. We talked about also talking to my client about what he can afford, because
Mhm.
he doesn't live in the property and he's had to pay unexpectedly these amounts. And there's been a government shutdown. So I want to make sure before we cement anything, we talked about asking him about that. If you feel comfortable commenting about that, Mr. Muir, or if you just want to talk to me about it, that's fine too, and I can relay what you want me to. But we want to discuss that and let you talk about that, because it may be, we don't know how long it's going to take for this property to sell.
And two things on top of that, I do want to hear from you. First, how do you say your last name? I've been acting like I knew how to say it because I heard someone say Mure once. How do you say your last name?
It's Mure, like pure.
Okay, I apologize for having mispronounced it the whole time, Mr. Mure.
It's very French.
Yeah, Mure but there's no accent on it, so Mure it is. And then the second point I want to make is that I appreciate Ms. Roy flagging this. I wanted to give her the opportunity to give you a call because you're on Zoom. That would have been a little more complicated, but none of what I've said today is locked in stone yet. You and Ms. Roy will have an opportunity to speak when we're done today to fine tune things, and then she'll be in a position to share with me, hey, here's our perspective on these things, and she'll be able to help you understand the path that we've charted forward, which is all I was describing, which is the house needs to be sold. It needs to be sold promptly, but by a realtor, not on the courthouse steps. And then we'd work through the accounting piece about how do we try to get the proceeds to the people in the right amounts.
You asking me a question?
Nope, I wasn't. I was telling you two things. Your lawyer asked you a question.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm kind of struggling with why he's being afforded the grace of paying half of the mortgage when he has defaulted on our leasing agreement for an entire year, pretty much. And I have a mortgage. I'm married. I live in Maryland. I have a house and a mortgage that I have to take care of, and I've spent thousands of dollars trying to keep this house from going under. while he's been living in it comfortably without any financial burden whatsoever. And now he's getting kind of a discount off of the mortgage after I've saved the house. I don't know that that's fair to me.
So that is the correct reaction, and I don't disagree with anything you said. What we discussed, the lawyers and I, was are there steps that could be taken to avoid foreclosure? And that requires paying the mortgage. Mr. Jones had not been paying it over the last few months. You had. And so my thought was, and this was my suggestion, not your lawyers, and it did not come from Mr. Jones's lawyer, was, well, Mr. Mure had been able to pay the mortgage in some way for which he would get credit when we do the accounting. So it's not good money after bad. If he had been able to do it, then let's turn to Mr. Jones to find out what can you guarantee that you will be able to pay for the next month or two while we wait to sell the property. And if Mr. Mure is able to make up the difference, then number one, most important, we keep the house out of foreclosure. Number two, because we're going to keep good paper records, it's very easy for then Ms. Roy to say, again, Mr. Mure had zero obligation to pay mortgage. So every dollar he's paying on the mortgage to come back to him when we do the accounting, if when the house sells, there's 100 grand left, and that's what is sitting in the registry of the court. So that was my view on how we avoid the foreclosure. You are free to pay zero, and then you decide what the impact that has on you. Does the house go into foreclosure? You're in that trick box that Ms. Roy helped me understand of, a foreclosure in one respect doesn't impact you at all because you're not living in the house and someone else gets thrown out on the street. But in another sense, it impacts you greatly because the arrangement you decided to make long ago, which was to have your name on the mortgage, and that impacts your credit. So all I can say is I'm trying to impose some framework for the next couple months that will keep the house from going into foreclosure. If you don't like that framework, you can share that with Ms. Roy, and she can say, you know what, Mr. Mure is going to put up $0 for the mortgage in the coming months, and we see what happens. Because you're under no legal obligation to do so. And I told Ms. Roy, I'm not going to make that an order from me that Mr. Mure has to pay a nickel. I was throwing it out there as a way to navigate the coming weeks as we move towards the sale. My weight is behind, it needs to be sold. That's where I will push obstacles out of the way and say, Jones, you got to be out of the house at this time so it can be shown. You're delaying on who the realtor is going to be, fine. I'm going to figure out who the realtor is going to be. None of my rulings will be, and Mr. Mure, you need to spend more money. So it is not a initially equitable outcome for you. I agree with that. It was viewed as an outcome that would keep the house out of foreclosure.
I would compromise and say that I would be willing to pay the difference from the original mortgage amount that he was accustomed to paying. We can go back to that figure and I'll make up the difference for that. But I really don't want to pay $1,100 out of my household for that house because I've contributed enough.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is let Ms. Roy and Mr. Coleman work through that. And Ms. Roy now knows, and ideally she would have had a chance to speak with you before we were back in this setting, because then she could say it, but this is what you would have told her. And then Mr. Jones is going to need to decide, yeah, I think for a couple months, I can do more than the 1150 because I haven't been paying mortgage for the last 6 months, and so I have a rainy day fund, and I'll make that happen. So I'm going to let the lawyers work through that, and then they'll let all of us know how that's going to play out, and we'll go from there.
Just quickly, I know I have the figure for what the current, I just was curious, Tristan, if you had the figure for what the original was. The current is 2,385.02.
The original was $1,834.93, so a little under 1,900.
Okay. So you are prepared, what I'm hearing you say, Mr. Muir, is that you're prepared on a going forward basis to contribute around 900 plus to the mortgage to keep the house out of foreclosure, knowing that, and I appreciate, I'm repeating myself, that all of that would be credited to whatever your part of the accounting is when we get to the accounting. Is
Yes.
that a fair statement?
Yes.
What was that,
Okay.
1,800?
I think it's a little less than 900, the difference, isn't it?
No.
Well, if the figure was 1,800 and something, then, but either way, I'm going to let you guys work through that. But Mr. Coleman was asking, could you state again the amount of the original mortgage payments?
The original was 1834.93. Can we just round it to 1850?
Well, specifically what it was 1834.
93 cents.
Okay, all right. It's important to know. I mean, hopefully there's a piece of paper somewhere with that on it as well. But you all can agree to round it in whatever way you want in terms of the math you're going to use as to what you're contributing. And then you'd back that out of the 2,300 figure. And that's what Mr. Jones needs to come up with if the mortgage payments are going to be made. That would be cash app to you in advance. And then you'd be paying it to Mr. Cooper. Ms. Roy, are there other things that we need to air out right now? A lot of it is going to be an email you send to Mr. Coleman with what I'll call the operating details for the coming weeks.
I did want to ask about insurance. I don't know the answer to that as I sit here. If
Mr. Jones, the home is insured?
Literally everything was controlled by in the escrow. So no.
Oh, yeah, and if it's in the, okay, so if it was an escrow payment, then we don't know, but I'm assuming that it is.
Mr. Mure, what do you know about insurance on the house? Is that part of the escrow?
It's part of the escrow. I'm not exactly sure how they handled it when the mortgage was not being paid, but there were some lender made payments in the payment activity. I'm just not sure where those payments went to.
Okay. But you haven't been told by the lender that there's been any lapse in insurance coverage?
No, they haven't told me
Okay,
that.
got it. And the main reason why things went from 18 to 23 is that there was a tax assessment and the property was deemed more valuable by Fulton County?
August of last year, the property taxes skyrocketed and the mortgage went from $1,800 to $3,000. And I called the lender to see what the issue was, and that's what they explained to me. And they offered me the opportunity to spread the escrow out over 48 months to decrease the amount of the monthly payment.
Okay,
So then the payment went down to 2,600 instead of 3,000.
okay.
Still higher than the 1,800, but
Oh yeah, no, anything, that's all, but the increase was driven by the tax assessment.
yes.
Okay, all right. Ms. Roy, anything else?
I think that's it, unless my client had any further questions. I just wanted him to know that I did, because I know he's curious about this, because he hasn't yet been living in the property, and the opposing party, Mr. Jones, has been living there rent-free, and my client saved it. It felt to him like that's a punishment then. He is the one who made good, and now he's being punished. Like, it feels like inequitable. We've been over the ground, and I'm not asking the court to reconsider it. I just wanted him to know that I made that argument in chambers, and that I did advocate that he not have to pay for this.
Very, very much so, you did, and I tried to make clear to Mr. Muir, it was my notion that we figure out how to keep the property afloat.
Right.
Explain that. I think Mr. Muir understands that what he has put in and what he will put in terms of mortgage payments are things that are credits in that great ledger in the sky that we'll be measuring when we get to the accounting. And that there's no obligation that he could wake up tomorrow morning after discussing this with his husband and say, forget it, I'm gonna pay zero. And then that might jeopardize whether the house stays out of foreclosure. And that's that, like I said, he's in that trick box of,
Yeah.
I don't want a foreclosure, but that wasn't my agreement that I had to pay anything.
Right. And I understand where you're coming from. better now. Than we were in chambers, but we did go over it in detail and the judge was fully aware of all of that and he advocated for that. But for the safety of preserving the asset, I understand the rationale.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, anything from your perspective that we need to talk about now versus get to the brass tacks between you and Ms. Roy?
The only thing that my client was expressing to me is that just Mr. Jones never had the opportunity and was never given the authority to
Pay anything.
pay anything.
Judge, can I just say, I've never received a document from the finance people. They've never called me. They have never mailed anything to my home that's my thing is he's making it seem like I had no number. They have, the only times I've even gotten the information from the mortgage company was from when the foreclosure people sent me the information. So I just want to
Okay.
make it aware that.
No, Mr. Coleman, Mr. Jones, fortunately, both sides have good lawyers here. Every once in a while, I get into a case, I'm like, oh boy, you need a different lawyer. Not this case. And so Mr. Coleman made very plain to me how you've been frustrated by being in the dark financially, in the same way that Ms. Roy helped me understand how Mr. Muir's been frustrated in the sense of, well, wait, like I'm not supposed to be paying these things. And how then Mr. Coleman explained that you were endeavoring to get things switched over to you so that you could then, hey, let me start negotiating with these people. But it's not how it played out. And so I think there are reasons for both sides to be frustrated. And there's reason for Mr. Mure to be concerned about his career because of how bad credit may affect that. There's a reason for you to be concerned about, I got to find a new place to live. And so life is complicated. It's complicated for both of you. The more you can vent to your lawyers and not to each other, the better, because that's why you pay them. They will listen to you and say, I feel you. And then they will sand down those rough edges of what you just said and then share it with the lawyer on the other side and ultimately with me. But I want to impress upon all four of you again, going forward, I'm going to be pretty laser focused on how do we get this place sold. And so if I'm bumping into what I feel like is some foot dragging on one side or the other, I'll pick you up so your feet aren't dragging and I'll get you to where you need to be. It just might not be how you'd like it to go. So the more people can be collaborative to get a good realtor in place, and I'll let Mr. Mure and Mr. Jones know the good idea that bubbled up in the meeting there was, well, someone found this great property for them. Why not use that same realtor? Well, but I mean, a realtor made it happen.
Exactly.
You may have found the house, but there was a realtor who made it happen because this isn't new construction. You bought it from someone. And so there was a realtor involved. Unless you had a bad taste with that realtor, that person knows the property, knows you all. Exactly. And so that's probably the ideal person to jump right back in and say, sweet, I'm back 3%. I'm happy about this. And they'll be motivated to go.
Okay.
I already contacted him.
As in like in the last 5 minutes?
No, like a week ago.
Oh, well, way to get a head start.
Yeah.
I've talked to him.
Okay. But this is the kind of thing that your lawyers are going to be happy with that. Because then it's not going to be a surprise when Mr. Coleman or Ms. Roy reaches out. It's like, hey, let's reactivate that Highland Lakes property on the market. Okay, I feel like even though we may not feel warm and fuzzy about it, we understand where we are. Last chance, any questions or concerns you want to, I say last chance, nothing's in writing yet. So there's actually a million chances still to nail things down.
So we draft an interim consent order and get that in.
Yes.
To you, and why don't we put a deadline on that? I need one for myself in terms of prioritizing.
Well, I'd love to get it by the end of the week. I feel that level of urgency, but I don't know your guys' schedule.
Yeah, I do.
And so I could give you the
Work
weekend.
for you. Okay.
Whatever she shoots to me,
doesn't-
however,
Yeah,
just
I can
whatever.
do that. I can do
I'm
that.
not
I
gonna
can
be
I can get you a draft by the end of the week.
Well, if you're getting it to him at the end of the week, I need to give Mr. Coleman some time. So how about this? Ms. Niles will be looking something from you all by lunchtime on Monday.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. I'll work to get that to you by close of maybe not close of business Thursday, but later on Thursday, so you can have it for Friday and look at it for the weekend.
Okay.
That'll work.
And then just on Monday, it's here it is, and it's ready to go, or here it is, but we disagree on paragraph 4 and paragraph 9. And then I'll know, not only do I clean up, so I like how it looks, but I need to fix 4 and 9 because they're two versions of it.
That's great. That sounds great.
Okay. Mr. Mure, do you have any questions for me before we wrap up today?
No, I understand the framework, so I'll hash it out with Patricia.
Correct.
Mhm.
Tell me how work is going for you during the shutdown.
Well, we did get notification yesterday that they're going to extend our contract for a couple months through the shutdown. So I kind of got lucky,
Good.
but it was supposed
Yeah.
to expire today.
Excellent. Well,
Oh,
congratulations on that. With what agency do you have a contract?
It's the Uniform Services of Health Sciences. It's I guess a medical hospital for veterans with the
Okay.
Department of Defense.
Okay. Well, that's one where it sounds like they're going to continue to push money to Department of Defense. Of all the departments, that's good. That's where your contract is. All right. Mr. Jones, do you have any other questions for me? Not for Mr. Coleman, but for me? No? Okay. Well, good luck on the real estate journey. I will see all of you again at accounting time. If that's not something that everyone works out, for sure I'll see you then. I may see you sooner if we have some intractable disagreement concerning the disposition of the property, but it can be via Zoom. I told the lawyers that today you needed to be here because we were maybe going to have a full-blown bench trial, but Mr. Coleman arrived with the news that we're not going to need that. So if there is something where we need to talk more than just have emails, I'm happy to have it via Zoom. Obviously for Mr. Mure, that's necessary. And we'll move forward that way. All right.
Your Honor, one final, can we set a date for the accounting by which we need to have this accounting?
So the note I made myself here to talk about with you all was, well, it would be within 30 days of the sale.
Yeah, we have to figure out what the sale has to be, yeah.
Well, yes and no. A lot of what you need to work out is work outable now. For example, and we're not resolving it right now, it sounds like there's a disagreement about down payment was 200 or it was 164. Those kinds of things you could be working out now. And if there are disagreements, we could have a hearing about that. The accounting is going to say, hey, X dollars needs to go towards Mr. Mure, Y dollars need to go towards Mr. Jones. And maybe there's a prioritization too, that Mr. Mure doesn't get any money until Mr. Jones gets this first 20, and then Mr. Mure, and we could sort that out now. The connection of all this to the sale is then we at least know how big the pot is. And there may be some accounting that is purely percentage, that my client gets 30% and the other guy gets 70% of the remaining excess. But some of the accounting is going to be, it doesn't matter how big the pot is. It's sort of like we do with these tax sales. The county gets 12 grand for the tax bills that weren't paid. And if what's left after the tax sale is 6 grand, the county gets all 6 and no one else gets anything because they had first priority. So I'm open to having an accounting discussion before the sale. But if you all know there'll have to be one after as well, I'm not a big fan of having to do 2.
You know, I'm gonna need some, yeah, I don't.
And so, Ms. Roy, why don't you and Mr. Coleman talk some? And if you are of a mind after talking with Mr. Coleman, whether he agrees or not, that it only takes one hearing and it doesn't need to be linked to the sale, I'd just soon do that now, not today, but soon. This is not a brand new case, and we could have that locked and loaded so that when the sale occurs and X $1,000 goes into the registry, there's already an order in place that says of those proceeds, we know $52,000 goes to Mr. Jones and $17,000 goes to Mr. Mure, and any excess is 50-50 or 90-10 or whatever it is. I don't. So you two need to talk first to see if you agree we really only need one hearing and it doesn't need to be tied to the sale.
Perfect.
Okay?
Do that.
All right, I think that's it. If no one has anything else, I appreciate your time. Happy to hear about the contract extension, Mr. Muir. Ideally, we get this taken care of before that extension runs out, but I would be surprised if the shutdown extends longer than that extension. So hopefully we'll move past all that. But you're closer to DC than I am. Maybe you know that something that it's, going to go on and on and on. We'll see. I think these election results are going to spook some people in Washington to take a different approach.
I agree.
Yeah,
Let's hope.
nothing like getting your fanny kicked to say, we got to do something different. All right, thank you, everyone involved. I will look for something next Monday, and either it's that consent agreement or it's Judge, we've got a problem. Okay?
Appreciate you all.
All right, thank
All
you.
right. Yes, you may. Take care.
Bye.
Yes, sir.